I'm GWReborn going to show you a full run of Dervish, VOS, Spikeway, and Urgoz Warren 12-man. Going to give you a full commentary from start to finish and lay out everything required as a Dervish. So I'm using full pecans, or as I should say, pretty much everything: cupcake, apple, corn, egg, and pumpkin pie. Start of the run, you're going to be soloing the Serpent. This is the most efficient way to do Urgoz and Spikeway, which relates to killing pretty much everything in Urgoz as you go, utilizing a tank, VOS, Mesmer, Spikeway, 1 or 2 monks, and a Bonder. And of course EOE as well. So once you get to the Serpent, you drag walking backwards since you have a cupcake activated to pull the first group of wardens to you. And then from there, you just use your VOS skills: Sand Shards, VOS, your Elite, Staggering, and Earmites. One key note, make sure you only Earmite off of Staggering. And I'm using Mystic Regen. Some Dervishes would use Ebon Battle Standard or Ebon Escape, but I like to be a little safe. Plus, this is a teach video, so this is more noob friendly for a Derv that may be not as experienced. And you saw how quick it is because the video is going at a 2x speed rate. That way I can give you a full commentary as we do the whole farm. Instead of you just sitting here listening to me and then I play music like I normally do, I get to explain the concept. So if you didn't notice at the beginning of the video, I showed the gear and template and build and pretty much everything you needed on there for the weapons. I'll put that all in the description. As we wait on the tank, everything balls up. Immediately go in there. The main key focus for VOS is make sure you're spiking on time after tank calls target for every spike, and not just that, but having the enchantments properly set up. The most important factor is to always Earmite off of Staggering and always have bare minimum Sand Shard and VOS before Staggering for each jump. I like to use Staggering before jumping in unless I'm going for like a small group of Blood Drinkers. Then I'll use Staggering after jumping in using Death's Charge. And then this Serpent, sometimes you can help kill depending on the spawn of where the brushes are for the next room. Key factor for Dervish in the next point, after first key factor killing Serpent solo at the beginning, second key factor for Derv is you're going to be getting the gate lock. Normally the gate lock on the right is for the Derv, and then the left gate lock is for the tank for Spikeway. Of course, for this run, I don't have Ebon Escape. Some Dervs use Ebon Escape over Mystic. I like Mystic because it gives me extra Windwalker benefit with 4+ enchantments, as I showed earlier with my gear, as well as I pretty much am a tank myself to survive any region without dying. You'll see I hardly die in the whole run besides activating pecans, and I think I did 1 death you'll see later. So if you time the VOS properly, you're able to spike every group using your enchantments as well as your Sand Shards and Splinter Weapon from the Ritualist. You don't ever really focus on timing of the Ritualist using Splinter. That's their job. And another video you can check out description. If you want to see kind of a role play for different professions doing Urgoz, I'll be sure to put that playlist there. This is an exhaustion region, so sheer exhaustion, negative aspects. So pre-cast your enchantments before you get in there, and don't kill your energy. You're going to see I use only 2 flash enchantments, which relates to me not hurting, but only 20 energy. And now that we're out of the sheer exhaustion region, it's full game again. I like to run 3 superior runes: Superior Earth +1 with the headpiece, Superior Mysticism, and Superior Scythe to get the optimal amount of damage, armor benefit, and energy management, but it does require full pecans to do that. So this is another key factor here in Dervish that is very important, that you do not run ahead just because the tank or bonder team does. Try to kill all of these wolves. This was a pretty messy run, so we had a lot of scattered wolves. Normally all the wolves are dying in a matter of 2 scythe hits for the first spawn, and then the second spawn the Mesmers and you take care of. And that's a nice thing about a Derv VOS in Urgoz is it's so powerful and OP, especially when you're spiking more than 10 enemies. The area of effect damage VOS does on the Elite as well as Sand Shards, and when you're using Staggering and Earmite attack, it activates a weakness on the enemies, which kind of in a way sets up a way for you to deal even more damage. And since we are running Mez Spikeway, it doesn't really matter. Another key factor, you notice how I went around instead of jumping down the bridge. Some Spikeway teams will not actually run the same way I just went. They'll actually run under the bridge or jump under the bridge with Ebon Escape Vanguard spell on the tank. I didn't run Ebon Escape. If you did, you're able to jump down there. But you have to make sure you stay behind so you don't trigger the ambush room, which is the room that everybody else is in. 1 of 12 party members minimum has to stay back. You see these 2 flames. You do not walk past them until I confirm, which I'm visually confirming. They pass the secondary bridge across after killing Serpent. Past the bridge is when they're able to come clear. And I'm going to just go ahead and catch up with the team. Normally, if you time it right, you can catch up to the team about 15-20 seconds before the tank balls, depending on how fast the tank is. Sometimes you'll be right on time, but you should never be late if you timed it right. You didn't have to kill that prior wolf group that I killed there earlier, but since I'm running a full tank bar and I'm confident, I was able to do that. Don't recommend doing that because it risks you dying. Get everything enchanted and ready. Get ready to death charge. Wait for everything to ball up before you jump in. And I usually like to time it right when I see everything getting around that 50-60% health to do my scythe attack for the warden spikes, because the warden spikes are usually the most important factor for a VOS to not spike too early and not to spike too late. And it's literally within a 1 to 2 second margin for when you spike. So you don't need to spike too early or too late to activate Edge of Extinction. All the mesmers are doing the off damage and pretty much area damage and nearby damage, while VOS does more adjacent and is a big nuke around whatever you just death charged into. Death charge is a little bit slower spiking than Ebon Escape, which relates to a better benefit, I say, when spiking in Urgoz, because when you use Ebon Escape, you scythe probably about half a second faster than death charge, which sometimes can mean you can spike too fast. We're in an exhaustion area again, so I only use skill 1 and 2, shards and VOS, and then I jump in and activate staggering and earmites. That way I didn't hurt my energy like I explained earlier. That's the only exhaustion region besides earlier at the prior bridge with the wolf, so that's all you have to worry about. I'm a little bit behind on the team here because of a lock chest. Lock chests are always a good money maker to do in Urgoz for the old school drops, because one day I may get a 2020 offhand I'm hoping for. Looks like that one was a 19 plus 10 from the straw effigy. So be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I do a lot more Guild Wars content to come. Y'all got to stay forward too. And this is the Blood Drinker room now, it's called for. So Blood Drinker room, key factor, do not spike that first Blood Drinker group if it's close to the tank. Always wait for the secondary spawn. Ritualist is doing a good job with Ancestor's Rage and Splinter on me, and they die really quickly. Always attack the most Blood Drinkers in one region as possible. If there's 2 adjacent and 2 nearby that are separate, go for the 2 adjacent first. And this is where you have to be careful not to aggro the wolves, but the tank's got a good body block, so the timing is right. Now that the gate opens after killing the 4 Blood Drinker groups required, go straight to the bridge. Sometimes the tank would ball up this group, sometimes you would ball it up. Since the tank was in front of me, I decided to let him ball him up before I go. If he was behind, I would have put all my enchantments up, death charge straight to the serpent, call target, and immediately nuke these. So that's pretty much the style of VOS. Doing this was a 12.5 to 13 minute Urgoz run, 2x speed, so I was able to give you a full commentary, a little bit different than playing music. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, be sure to give us in the comment section, and of course check out description to see build template, gear, all of the armor, runes requirements, etc. And Urgoz should die anywhere from 10 to 13 minutes with a really good competitive team, as long as the Dervish does their part in solos. Thanks for watching.